disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.
Welcome once again to another episode of Fists, Kicks, and Flicks, the podcast about martial arts, movies, and life. I am one of your hosts, Eugene Plowden. With me, as always, my podcast partners, Joe Hartley and Angel Diaz. What's up, fellas?
What's up?
What's up?
If this is your first time with us, I want you to know we are members of the Martial Arts Center Network. On Tuesdays, you got the Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. Thursdays is us, Fists, Kicks, and Flicks with Jane, Joe, and Angel.
Wednesdays, you get the traditional way with Brett Shumway, and once a month, we got the extra scoop with Peyton Fender and Jeff Dawes.
For more information, you can check us out on all of our social media platforms. Just look for the Martial Arts Center Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Patreon. Fellas, it's episode 200.
Wow.
It's showtime. What's up, guys?
What's up?
Man, when I started this podcast, I never even thought about getting to 200. I honestly probably thought about like maybe getting the 30 or 40, maybe 50. I never thought about 200, man. We've been at it a while.
Yeah, can I be honest with you? I was going upstairs, right? And my mom asked me, she said, "Oh, you recording today?" I said, "Yeah." And I almost was about to tell her, like, same thing I've been doing for the past 3 years. I almost said that. And then it hit me. So before you guys said 200, I was like, man, we've been doing this for like a while, man. It's been like almost like 3 years, about beyond 4.
Yeah, well, you guys came in at 2001, right? The beginning of 2021. 21, right? You guys came in the beginning of 21.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Episode 26, I think, was our first episode.
And I was just about to ask
25, 26.
I was about to say, Joe, do you remember what number episode we came in at? I forgot which one.
Yeah, it was like 26 or 25.
Honestly,
because it was the Karate Kid. That's all I remember.
Yeah.
The craziest thing is that we came in at that. And the crazy thing is like how you just said, like, we're at 200. Like,
200, that's right.
Not just
our next episode, we beat CTE. The next episode, we beat CTE.
Yeah.
All right.
Not just not 50, not 75, not 100, not 150, not 200. Damn, that's crazy, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, everybody, for all you haters, with all the breaks we take and everything, 200. What's up?
Yeah, if we didn't take any breaks, we probably would be closer to 240. I think when I did the math, I looked it up. We'd probably be around 240, something like that. Yeah.
What's Jeff and they're like, we would be around them. We'd be close to them, wouldn't we?
We'll be a little bit closer than we are, but they had a almost a year head start on us. Let me take a look to see.
But even if they only had a year head start, they can only be 52 shows at most ahead of us.
They are actually a little bit more. They're at 266.
Oh, okay.
So with Inside Scoop.
Okay, all right. That's cool. I mean, hey, listen. You know what though?
That's
man?
phenomenal.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good to see. It's just good in general that the main gang has had episodes that have lasted that long.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen. Instead of my bad if I interrupted. I know we usually do our check-in, but I'll just say
that's all good.
I'll just say this quick. Like since it's 200.
It's 200. We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. Since it's 200, I'll say, man. I actually was I don't know if I've ever said the story before on here, but if I didn't, I'll sum it up quick. My first time I ever talked to Gene was after I got done doing my first VFT. I remember Gene messaged me and said, "Man, you got a bright future in the sport, bro. You're gonna do big things, man." And it's crazy because it's just some of the stuff I've done has been crazy, and some things came to fruition. But I remember I wanted so badly to be mentioned on CTE. I wanted so badly to be mentioned on Main Gang to the point I would listen to them. I remember I just was fresh out of college. I was listening to I would listen to their podcast every day I went to work, and every day I came home. So I would always like split it up. Mm-hmm. And then I met Chris, and when I met Chris, I was like a fangirl, bro. I said, "Yo, is that Chris from CTE?" Yo, Chris goes, "Huh? Who talking about me?" I said, "Oh my God."
It's funny you say that, Angel. Did you know Travis before you started?
This is the thing. So with all you guys, I actually knew about. So I actually remember the way I heard about everybody. I knew about Travis because I used to watch his videos when I was a kid growing up. I used to love watching the way he fought. I thought the way he fought was interesting.
You made Travis sound old as shit right there. I used to watch him when I was growing up. I used to watch his videos.
Seriously, hey, listen, man. It's crazy because sometimes I talk to Travis about it. And he's like, shit, I haven't heard that name in a minute. I'm like, yeah. Like, I can name off Travis's fights, like, easily. Chris, same thing. I watched him growing up, and then I worked with Chris. And then me and Chris always stayed tight. He would work with me every once in a while. And then I remember your first episode where you even got mentioned into the Man Gang universe, because we're gonna call it the Man Gang universe, guys. So
I didn't know that. Okay.
The first one was when they called
Travis called me.
They called you about is Dana White racist, and I'll never forget. This is when I knew I liked Gene. He said, "Chad, don't start me with this shit. It's too late for this." And I was on my way to work laughing my ass off. And I remember him saying that, and then they talked about Thug Jitsu, and then they were going back and forth, and so I remember that. I remember Joe getting mentioned when Mike Gibbs got brought on. I remember when Mike called Jotty, like all those things. So
I forgot about that. I want to go back and listen to that. I want to go back and listen to that. That was funny.
I remember when you asked me to be on. I said, "Man, hell, how could I not? Of course I want to do this." And I get to watch a karate movie? Fuck yeah, I'll do this, man. And then, yeah, man, I always thought it was interesting, man, just to see how far we gotten and just how far we've got. Like, 200, man. It's crazy.
Reason I asked you if you knew Travis was because, Mike decided that he wanted to really focus on wrestling.
Yeah.
And then also, he had signed some contract with the organization that he was with, and there was certain things that he couldn't talk about. And he had to be, be in be looked at a particular way. So I knew he wasn't gonna be able to do the show anymore. So when I reached out to you, because at first, it was Jeff, doing the show a lot to step in for Mike, because Mike kept on having to call off. And I think Alex did a show with me, and I'm just trying to find somebody. So when I reached out to you, I was like, okay, cool. Got Angel and Joe, because I did it on the same day. Like, I probably copied the same message and sent it.
Damn, man, I felt so special in the moment. But all right, thanks, bro.
But I told Trav, I was like, okay. I was like, all right, I got 2 new hosts with me. I was like, I got Joe and I got Angel Diaz. And Travis was like, what? Angel? And I was like, yeah. He was like, you know him? I was like, no. I was like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, but him and Joe always comment. They send me a message after every show that me and Mike do. So I was thinking like you were some big time, fighter. Like, because the way Travis was like, what? You just reached out to him and spoke to him? I was like, yeah, what the fuck? Like was I not? Am I not supposed to talk to him? Was he not supposed to agree?
I will say this, man. Right at that time when you asked me, that's when I started really competing a lot, and I was able to actually get out of Connecticut and start doing NASCAR tournaments and everything. So when I got out, it was really a thing of like people like, they didn't know who I was. So I kind of came in like a storm, and wasn't that I was winning my division, but I was like right away fighting for seconds, fighting for first and second, all that stuff. And then I remember right when you guys asked me, I'll never forget, I went on a crazy hot streak. I went on like a crazy hot streak where like, I think for like, it was probably almost up until like Battle US Open, I was on like stage almost every tournament I went to. Like when it was Chicago, that's when I almost made it on stage. And that's when Gibbs was coaching. And that's how me and Gibbs first met. And that's when Gibbs said, you ever... I love you, kid. If you ever stick your tongue out at me again, I'll kill you. And that's when we started talking crap. So, because he was coaching, I said something to him. I think I said something crazy, like he's not ready for this. And then I kept going and do whatever I was doing. Then I did another tournament. I was on stage for like everything. Then I did another tournament. I was on stage for everything. So I remember at that time I was like a crazy hot streak, and that's right when you asked me. And I was like, hell yeah, I'll do it. And then I remember I went to my first tournament like right after I got on, and then that's when I told Alex, I told Trav, I said, is there some beef going on? Because now people know I'm part of Man Gang. People are threatening me, and I just got on the team. And then that's when Trav was like, what? And nobody messed with. I was like, yeah, that's right. I got my gold. I remember, no joke. It was literally like I was only on there for like a week, and someone was like, "Yeah, you better tell Man Gang, they better watch it." I was like, "What?" I was like, "What you talking about?" And then I was like, "What's happening? Like, what did I step into?" Like some underlying beef that's going on. But no, man, that was actually crazy. So when Trav said that, it's probably just because I was competing a lot at that time. You know what's crazy? I've always wondered, how did you get to ask me? I didn't know. I thought Trav said, "Yo, he's like a fan. You should like ask him to see if he wants to do it."
No, Travis didn't know. He didn't know. I
so-
just reached out. I'm like, I don't care. Like, what you gonna hurt my feelings? You say no? Like, fuck it. I'll find somebody else.
No,
I wasn't
because
gonna
we
be mad.
were interacting with the show the most.
we were,
than-
but I loved it
yeah,
though because you guys were
because
doing
it
all
was
the movies I
funny.
grew up on.
Yeah, when I remember when the first show came out, like I was like, "Oh, what's this?" And then I seen it was Gene and Mike, and I'm like, "Well, of course I'm gonna listen." And then when the first movie you did, the only other time I saw that movie was at your uncle's camp.
Right.
So I was like, "Oh, I haven't seen this in a while. I can find it on."
I don't think Angel's ever seen that movie.
No, actually, let me tell you something. I actually went and watched the movie. You guys have got me.
That's the thing.
The movies.
When you and Mike were doing the shows, I would watch the movies and then listen to the show.
Gotcha.
That's why.
And it was funny.
Sometimes I kind of laugh because I always tell people, I'm like, man, ain't nobody were fans like me and Joe. Like me and Joe were fans. I got the opportunity to do it. Like we were fans. Like I'm telling you, like it was to the point.
Yeah, nobody messaged me like y'all did.
Listen, I listened to every single show we ever had. Raw with Mimi and Lump, Inside Scoop.
Oh, I miss Raw.
Like, you listen,
dude.
Joe,
Mondays, Raw and CTE used to just kill me. I used to just, that was my work.
Raw,
that was all at my work.
Bro, Raw used to get me. I mean, Raw got me to the point that I was like, yo, man, these dudes are crazy. Like, I can't, man. These dudes are crazy.
See, I knew Willie like that, and so did Gene. So nothing Willie was saying.
Been like that since he's a kid. Willie he was 4 or 5 years old.
He was real little.
Yeah,
listen,
that's just how he is.
I know Willie because me and Willie got a good relationship from just, again, he saw me coming up and he used to always tell me, like, yo, kid, the day you get out of your state, you're going to be a problem. Willie used to always tell me all the time. And I used to always go and ask Willie, like, how can I get better? He used to always just tell me, you just got to get out of your state. So when I finally did it, that's when Willie messaged me one time and he was just like, boy, it's good to see you doing what you're doing. Like we all said that this was going to happen for you. So Willie was cool, but I always, man, some of the stuff that Willie would come out and say, oh my God. I judged the ring with Willie one time. I almost got kicked out of the ring because I couldn't stop laughing. I was the craziest thing. There was one day Willie
got that Jackie King in him. He got that Jackie King in him.
Yes. Angel, does Angel even know Jackie?
Who's Jackie King?
Oh no!
Oh my God! That's a Michigan legend. Michigan legend.
Willie was different.
Willie has a lot of Jackie King when it comes to judging. Willie has a lot of Jackie King in him. Yeah.
So listen. I was judging in Detroit, and Willie's student was in the ring, and Willie was right behind me in my ear every call I was making. I finally turned around and said, "I got this. Don't worry about it." He's like, "Come on, Hart." He's like, "Come on, Joe, you can't see that. Come on." I said, I'm not gonna call. I'm gonna step out of this ring. You wanted to? He was having me dying. And afterwards, I went over. I said, "What is wrong with you? Leave me alone. I'm trying to judge."
Did you guys hear about how he got in trouble at Diamonds this year? This is gonna be super quick. Did you hear?
No, I didn't know. No.
Bro, they're in the middle of the female, like divisional first place match or middleweight grands, right? The ring is here. The ring across, like right next to it, is Avery and Cam fighting. For some reason, they called break or whatever, and someone had to fix their foot gear. Willie walked and watched the match. They ran the women's match for 30 seconds. They said, "Call. Where's Willie?" Willie said, "I'm here." He came back and goes, "My bad, bro. They were over there." I said,
"Oh man!"
I said, "Willie is the wildest dude you will ever like." If you want to see a good one, get Willie and Chris to judge a match together. It is the funniest thing you will ever see.
I can't imagine that.
Is the funniest. Oh my God.
You know what? Honestly, I met Chris when Travis did the Face Off event down in Atlanta. That was the first time I met Chris.
Yeah.
And I didn't know about it until I didn't even realize he was Chris until after, like once I started doing Fist Kicks and Flicks, and I saw some pictures of that event. I'm like, oh shit, that's C-Walk right there.
Can I just say,
I didn't even realize
you are the worst person. You better say hi to me when you see me, because you did that to Brett. You did it to Chris. You better say
Angel,
hi, bro.
I'm gonna tell you this, Angel. I'm gonna tell you this, man. That is just me and my personality. There's been people in the karate school, my uncle's school, that I was not talking to. It's just me. It's just me. Me and Joe talk more now than we ever did when we trained together, and that's keeping it 100. That's keeping it 100. That's my personality. Travis used to always tell people like, "Oh, that's my brother. He don't like people." I'm like, "What you keep telling people I don't like people? Like, I don't like people like that. I just." Just don't be telling people I don't like them. I'm just the type of person. I just keep to myself. I don't get no drama. I don't get in your beefs. I don't get into no he said, she said stuff. I just mind my business. If you look up minding your business, my picture is in that dictionary. I don't be bothering nobody. I'm not the one to go to tournaments and make friends with people. When I used to go to tournaments, people at tournaments were the competitors. I didn't want to be friends with you because one day you were the competition, and I don't want to, be cool with you. And my job is to go in there and beat you. So I don't want to feel bad if I hit you with a hard shot or anything like that. So I just wasn't one of those people that just went out and just made friends with people. That was Ski. That was my uncle. That was Trav, and they bring people back to the fam. But that just wasn't me. Even as a kid, it wasn't me.
Ski was funny. When we went on that trip to overseas, Ski was funny. When Ski, you understand, that last day, I finally told Ski, I said, bro, where the hell are you going? Like, you look like you going to a goddamn fashion show, and you're just coaching. He goes, what, man, I can't look good? I said, Ski, you're wearing snakeskin boots while you're coaching me. Where are you going? Like, where are you going?
Yeah, man. I got a lot of stories with Ski. His outfits.
When we went over there, stories Ski was telling me about all you guys, I couldn't stop. I mean, I was on the floor laughing. I couldn't stop. He told me the funniest one. And I know it's not like funny to him, but it was funny to me when he said, "Now you want to know someone that got beat the worst I've ever seen? When me and Trav did that team fight and we faced against Raymond, and that dude got beat by 25." I said, 25? He said, I was like, what'd you do? He said, what the fuck can you do? We just got up and left. I said, oh, okay. He said, then that's why the next year Carlos Tierney was on our team. I said, oh, God. When he told me that, I said, he said 25. He said, Angel, 25 in 2 minutes. I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. I was like, oh, man.
I'm gonna tell you what, man. It was one time, this is in the early 90s. My uncle had joined, I don't know if you knew this, Joe. Do you know my uncle had joined Al-Kibalan? He became the president of Al-Kibalan. And he did that in the early 90s, and we were going to join forces with them. I didn't care. I didn't want to be friends with them. I had to be forced. I had to be forced to be part of the team. I didn't want to be part of the team. That's just me. That's always been my personality, man.
People have some good people, man.
I love them all. Like, everybody was cool. Like, once I got to know everybody, it was no problem once I got to know. But it was just like, man, why? I keep my circle small. I keep my circle really, really small, man, and I don't get no BS or nothing. But that, you know what? I just changed my mind about that. I just thought of something. I just realized I'm just sitting there thinking, like, you know what? I do keep my circle small, but every time something pop up, everybody seem to call me, Gene. We got to go do this. Hey, I need you to come help me out with this. How many times I've been the heavy? I'm sitting there thinking, like, damn. I had to ride for my homeboys a few times, luckily.
Well, you say you're not in drama, but you also the same dude that walked around with a baseball bat.
Hey, man, somebody broke into my apartment. Somebody had broke into my apartment, so I was going to break them. It's fair. That's only fair. He broke into my apartment, stole my Atlanta Hawks, my Atlanta Braves jersey. Man, that jersey was sweet as hell. I'll steal my jersey, so yeah.
God damn. It was like a true Friday after next. They robbed you right before.
Dude, I'm gonna tell you. Listen. That person eventually did get beat up. I had nothing to do with it at that time. I didn't have nothing to do with that. Now, I didn't have nothing to do with that, But that they did get beat up by somebody that was affiliated with, our organization, Joe. Now that because this, he was one of Ski's cousins, and he went to college with us. And I guess, he got into an altercation up at school, Joe, did you know Kimby?
Probably. I'd have to see him.
Kimby. All right, Kimby got his black belt with me and Ski and Trav and the rest of us. And Kimby called me and was like, "Hey, Drake just got jumped, this, that, and the other." I called Ski and said, "Hey, Andre just got jumped." So we went over to the dorm, and we start telling people we looking for the people who did it. We looking for him, make sure he was good. And I guess because me and Ski were so well known on campus, we started going around from dorm room to dorm, looking for the person that did this, right? And I remember turning around at one point, people were just joining us. They was like, "Oh, y'all about to go do X, Y, Z, so we gonna come with you." I looked around. We had about 40 dudes with us going from door to door. Now, at that point, we're a little bit too deep, Campus police is going to get called. They see 40 people looking for one guy. That, but that's that's an offline story, man. That story gets a little deep, But yeah, man, originally, man, back to Fist Kicks and Flicks. When we were doing this, I originally wanted 4 people. After when I saw what was going on with Mike, because I wanted 4 because I felt 4, if one of us falls off, got to do something, got to go to a tournament, internet's acting up. The other 3 could still keep it moving. It still could be a good show. Plus, Alex and Jeff was 2, CTE was 3, and I figured we could be 4. We could be like turtles.
To one up. You were just like,
But then, even when you 2 came in, I was still thinking about bringing somebody else on. But our chemistry, all 3 of us, our chemistry just kind of matched, and I just like, you know what, I'm just gonna leave it at 3, which would be, and it worked out for us. So I got no regrets, man.
I like our chemistry. To be honest with you, I'm not lying to you. My fiance already told me. She said, "Yeah, you better act right when you're in Chicago." I said, "I'm not gonna act right with them." I was like, I said, "Do you know? You see what it's like when we're on camera? Imagine in person. I'm not gonna act right."
Hey, man, you know what? Just because you said that, I'm gonna see if Mike can come. I'm gonna reach out to Mike, because now there's a guarantee you're not going to act right. If Mike is with all of us together, no,
not at all. Listen,
I'm gonna reach out to Mike. We're gonna have a good time.
I can't. I'm not gonna. I told her, I was like, I'm not gonna act right. I was like, with all of us, I was like, come on, man. I was like, the amount of jokes and things we're gonna be doing, I was like, it's gonna be too funny. I can't.
It might, yeah. It sounds like a crazy time. Man, think about Willie, man. Willie was my first assistant instructor.
Did you teach him growing up? Who taught him?
I did.
You did, right?
I did a lot. I did a lot of the teaching for the school. Like once I got my black belt in '91, like I was, me and Trav did a lot of teaching, and at that time I was 14, and turning 15. So I did most, especially the white belt class, the white purple belt. Now my uncle would do the black belts. I wasn't teaching the black belts classes, but most of the other classes I was teaching from 91 to 95. And even when I would come home in the summers, I went to college in 95, and when I would come home in the summers or breaks or whatever, I was doing majority of the teaching up until 2000. I did a lot of teaching, especially on the weekends, because everybody else would go to tournaments. Somebody had to run the school. So on Fridays and Saturdays, I was the one running the school. So I did a lot of teaching for my uncle. And then in 2000, when I became, started working and everything, I started doing my own thing, have teaching at community centers or churches and, that kind of stuff. And, we used to have, my uncle set up he gave everybody their own little locations. I had like 2 or 3 locations at this time. And on Sunday mornings, we all would get together, and it would be me, Trav, Chris Dowdell, Mr. Allison, Ski, my uncle. It would be 7 or 8 of us at the karate school, and we'll be planning how we're going to attack the week, what kind of marketing we're going to do, what kind of classes we were going to do. And then my uncle would tell us how he wanted us to do it, and we would just go out and execute it. And we all had these little Team Plowden satellite schools, So that was working for a little while also. And then like around 2004 or 5, and I started teaching at the Jewish Community Center, which was my thing. It originally was Ski's. And when Ski went to the police force, he passed me to school. So I took over, and then I grew the school even bigger because I didn't get any of the students that Ski had. So it was like, even though I got that location, I had to start all over. And then when I got it big enough, I got to a point where I just couldn't do it by myself. And I got Willie to come in and be my assistant. Now on paper, Gene and Willie together running the school, that does not seem like the best combination, but it worked, man. Me and Willie, we had those little Jewish kids. You know, they was ready to bang. They was ready to bang, man. We had them, man. Them kids was fighting.
Yeah, I can't with you, bro. I can't.
Yeah, man. Yep.
Oh my
And we had to
God.
keep them. I had to keep them separate, which was kind of hard because the boys and girls, because these were Orthodox Jewish kids, so the boys could not be in the same class as the girls. So I would have the boys beginner class, the girls beginner class, the boys advanced class, the girls advanced class. You know,
Man, I
and
didn't even think about that.
yeah, man, yeah. So but and then eventually, some of the students they liked it. They had me teaching at their regular school. So then I was going and having classes at their schools also, and it was fun, man. But I eventually better job opportunities came to me, and I had to, pass it on to other people and do this, that, and the other. And then I think Willie left right after that. After that time, he ended up booking up and leaving. So that's how that went. But yeah, man, me and Willie, we had a good time, man.
Yeah, that's okay. That's cool.
Yeah,
man, you guys had a long. Listen, man. It's just that's crazy though that you guys have that much history through your system.
You know what, man? Honestly, there's so much. It's sometimes talking with people. Sometimes somebody could bring something up that I forgot all the time. Especially like Mike. I don't even remember how Mike remembers some of the stuff that he remembers. Because talking
Mike
with Mike
remembers
sometimes,
everything.
yeah,
Mike
he'll bring up
remembers
something
everything.
that I totally forgot about. Like I said, I thought I stopped fighting in '98. Mike was like, "No, you fought for 2 more years after that. We went to this tournament. You got third this tournament. You went to this tournament. You got this." I'm like, "Man, how do you even remember that? I don't even remember that." So
that's crazy.
yeah, Mike got a good memory. And Mike used to have a video camera also. So Mike got a lot of tapes. I don't know if he still has all those tapes. But he used to have a lot of tapes. Peter Davenport, his dad. Peter Davenport's dad got a lot of tapes when I was a little kid, like purple belt and green belt, blue belt, red belt. He got all those tapes. And Willie too. Willie's mom has some of those.
My
when I
dad
was a black belt.
did all the tapes at the tournaments.
Mm-hmm. So
I got videos of them somewhere.
Was Pete the same age as you guys or no?
Pete is 1 year younger than Trav.
Okay.
Yeah, he's 1 year younger than Trav. So Pete, when we were all blue belts, so I got his picture up on my wall in my school. Pete, when we were blue belts, I think Pete was a white belt.
Okay.
So he was a little bit behind us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So Joe, how's everything going with you, man? It don't matter. It's episode 200. Man. We're gonna have a jumbo size episode, man.
Yeah.
It's all right. You know what? Everything's fine. They haven't been forcing anybody in for the holidays. Thanksgiving comes around and I get forced in. I'm like, dang. I was like, come on.
Is that a surprise?
I mean, like I said, they haven't been doing it, but I guess they've been getting enough volunteers. And they didn't get enough volunteers, and I'm low on seniority, so they forced me in. But it's all right. I mean, it's extra money, and I'll be home plenty of time to go. But I'm taking my mom with me to my father-in-law, so I was just trying to get there and get settled in. So either Michelle's gonna take my mom and then I'm gonna meet them over there, or they're just gonna wait for me. It just depends on what happens. Plus, a lot of times, they'll let us skip lunch and let us leave a half hour early, so that'll help. But we'll see.
What time you normally get off?
2:30.
And you're talking about Thanksgiving, right?
Yep, actual Thanksgiving, yeah. Because I'm off today and tomorrow. Then I'll go work on Thursday. I take Friday off because we do a thing at my father-in-law's. We've been doing this, man, for 17 years now, where the girls go do the shopping. My family will stay here and set up the tree, and then we'll watch a movie marathon. We'll just watch 5 or 6 movies from 9 a.m. till everybody gets tired, 5 or 6 o'clock.
Are you the last one watching movies most of the time?
Everybody else. I'm the first one there and the last one there. And I used to do this when I was still on midnights. I used to come home on midnights, grab a cup of coffee, get like 2 hours of sleep, get up and go.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'd make it through like the first movie and a half, and then I'd be over there half asleep, and then I'd just wake up. I'd wake up and then get right back to it. But yeah, so it's just something fun. So we started this when it used to be the kids versus the adults in video games when Halo was
Okay.
popular. So we did Halo 1, 2, and 3. We would set up like a LAN game. So the
Mhm.
kids would be upstairs and we'd be downstairs, the adults, and we just get destroyed. I don't know
Yeah,
why we
of
kept
course.
doing it. These
That
kids
sounds
would
like
just
fun, though.
destroy us.
That sounds like
Oh,
fun,
it was a
though.
great time. It was a
Yeah.
lot of fun, lots of junk food and everything, leftovers from Thanksgiving. And then the only time the adults started winning was when we forced the kids who were 18 to kind of join our team. And
Yeah,
then
because
slowly,
they would
as,
know it better than you.
and they were still trying to stay with with their friends, but we were like, oh no, you're 18, get your ass down here. So then we started hanging a little more, and then slowly everybody got too old to really do the video games, and it was just like 4 or 5 of us, where at that time it was like, man, there was like 12 to 14 of us every year. And so we just said, you know what, instead of getting our butts whipped at video games, why don't we just watch a movie or 2 or 3 or 4? So yeah, he'll grab, because my
That sounds like a good
father-in-law's
idea.
got, he's got a real nice setup. He's literally has a projector, he's got blackout curtains, he's got a sweet setup, he's got his own popcorn machine. It's nice. So
Oh, that's
So,
cool.
are the movies you're watching old movies that you've seen before or new movies?
depends on what's out at the time. Would there usually be 1 or 2 new movies or something I haven't seen, and then a couple that I have seen, or maybe like everyone's seen it but one person. So he usually picks out some pretty good stuff. Him and I like most of the same stuff.
Gotcha.
So he finds some good movies. Have you seen this one? Have you seen that one? I'm like, no, I haven't seen that one. Let's check it out. So, and I'm bringing my son with me this year. I said, he watches R-rated stuff all the time anyway. So, um, I told him this year, I was like, you want to come instead of hanging out? He don't even care about the tree. He's like, whatever. So he's like, yeah, what are we gonna watch? I'm like, if you ask Grandpa, he'll let you pick a movie. He don't care.
Okay.
So that'll
All
be
right.
fun. Let's see. Really, that's it. Just work and that, and then I gotta say this because Angel will enjoy it. I took my son. The girls went to one of the other schools was doing the play like my daughter did last week, a couple weeks ago. They were doing their musical, and it was the Addams Family. And my son didn't want to go, so I was like, okay, I'll stay home with you. And so I took him to drums, and then we came back and we went to Buffalo Wild Wings.
My man, that's
I almost
what
sent
I'm
you a
talking
picture, but I just we got too much going on, so I was just like I forgot.
That's what I'm talking
But
about. That's how you have a great day. That's how
Angel, are you
It
still doing
was.
that every week?
every week, bro.
What's your favorite over there?
Oh, I get honestly, I'm basic, man. I get the 15 boneless medium wings, extra medium sauce on the side of fries, and honestly, man, I like to just sit there and just watch a game, just chill.
Yep.
That's my thing,
My
bro.
son got a burger with mac and cheese on it and bacon.
Did he like it?
He loved it. This is the first time though. He always finishes his. This was double patty, bacon, mac, and like he got halfway through and was like, Dad, I'm like, don't tell me you're done. You don't quit on me. He's like, nah, I gotta take this home.
Jonathan, like you're doing it. You're being an embarrassment. Finish it. What are you doing?
Right?
Don't you know who I am? I'm Joe Hartley
He
here.
always,
He's
if
like,
it's
hey,
if
be
it's
a
a
man.
burger, I've never not seen him finish a burger. So it must have been filling because I've seen him take down like 2 or 3 burgers before.
He's
So
like, be a man,
yeah,
son.
he
Be a
was
man.
he was good. So he finished it the next day. But yeah, that was fun. So we had a good time. It's all I always like every once in a while, just especially for their birthdays, I do the one-on-one with the kids, because you just, you can spend that one-on-one time every once in a while. They open up to you, you get a little bonding, so it's fun. And
That's
yeah,
cool,
we
bro.
had a good time. He came home and played his video games, That was it. That's all the moment I get.
All right.
Yeah, that's cool though.
Yeah, it was good. We had fun. How was your week, Angel?
My week was good, man. It was busy, honestly. So counting down to Thanksgiving is what I've really been focusing on.
Well,
This weekend I was actually with Jeff.
when this comes out, it will be Thanksgiving. So happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, guys. What you call it? I was with Jeff this weekend. Went down, did a tournament down there where he's at. Um, it went well, man. Ended up winning the overall, so it was a good weekend.
All right, congratulations.
And thanks. And I got a question to ask, right? Because someone said this to me, and now I can't look at the trophy the same, right? And Gene, you don't have to answer it if you don't want to, because I don't know if it's gonna. I don't want people to look at your uncle's tournament different, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, I won a belt, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you guys don't know, my biggest things that I care about winning are belts and gold medals.
Mm-hmm.
Like gold medals from like world championships, not gold medals like a tournament just gives out a gold medal, like world championship, like you represent USA gold medals. So the biggest thing that I love are gold medals and belts, because I feel like no matter what combat sport, everyone knows what a belt means. You know what I mean? You're a champion. So I won the belt, and someone there was like, shit, man, watching you fight made me want to get back out there. I was like, oh yeah, thanks, man. And he saw the belt, and he goes, yeah, man, you can go to the gym and go weightlift with this. So I saw it, and I said, oh, yeah, all right, whatever, bro. Like, that's weird. Like, whatever the hell's wrong with you, bro? I get back, and I'm looking at the belt, and I'm like, this is real interesting that he said that. So then I go look up a weightlifting belt, and I said, it's just a weightlifting belt that you just put a plaque on it. And I was like, man, now it done took the coolness of winning a belt.
I'm gonna tell you something, man. Being around Richard Plowden all my life, man, I'm so glad you did not say something like that to him in class, because there would be no class after that. The rest of the class would have been an hour lecture on what's most important, winning or the prize.
Yeah.
And he would have been like, he wouldn't say what the F, he would have been a little bit more PC, but he would have been like, why do you care what it is that you win? Like, why do you care about that?
Yeah.
As opposed to, being happy that you are the overall winner. He would say something like, you're focused on the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm.
You shouldn't give a damn about what it is that you get, as long as you beat everybody else. You're the only person in this building that beat everybody else.
Yeah.
Everybody else lost. Who gives a damn about what you're given? That's what he would say.
Well, thank God.
That's exactly what he would say.
I got a piece of it. Because I saw it, and ever since they said, I was like, You know what it is? The belt thing for me, it was always because when I was young, I was like, man, I don't even know if I would ever win a belt. I used to think I would never win a belt. That was always that biggest thing for me. I was like, man, I hope I win a belt one day. Because you always see it on boxing and all that stuff. Like, man, I hope I win a belt one day. And then I fought for a belt. Like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I fought for a belt probably 10 times before I finally won my first one. And that's when I was like,
I'm gonna tell you, there's been some tournaments. I don't know if you've seen this, Joe, but there's been some tournaments where we got to the point of winning so much, where people weren't even taking first place. They're winning anymore. They just wanted the money, and they won. They weren't taking their trophies. If it was first place, it didn't matter. They weren't taking it.
I'm like that now.
I know Trav did that at some tournaments. I think Willie did that at some tournaments. I know Ski did that at some tournaments. The prize just really the prize was that you beat everybody else, knowing that you won and beat everybody else, and then of course the money. They gonna take the money. Ain't nobody leaving no damn money. They gonna take the money, and hopefully, if it's the rest of us are there, they divide the money up and splitting it or whatever. But we never really got. I mean, except for certain things, like people want the diamond ring, they want the Warrior Cup. There are certain things that people want and will fight for, but for the most part, we really didn't care about what it was that we won.
That's where I'm at now.
So,
at this point, that's where I'm at now. Like even when I go to the NASCAR tournaments, when I go to almost any tournament,
I think I told you guys before, man. He made me feel this big as a kid. You know, I got fourth place at a tournament, and I had a big ass division, and I was like, at least I'm coming on with something. And he's driving. He was like, "What?" I was like, "At least I got something." He was like, "You got fourth place. You're the only person that lost twice in that division. I never got another fourth place again. I refuse. If I was fighting for third and fourth, I beat the shit out of whoever I was fighting. I'm going to get third place. I've only gotten fourth place once in my life.
Let me tell you something. I'll never forget when Trav just dropping gems on me when I was like, before I got on the network. And he asked me one time, he said, "What's the worst place you could ever get?" And I was like, "Last." He's like, "Nope." I was like, "Last?" I was like, he goes, "Fourth." I go, "Why?"
Yeah, he was in the car with me.
He goes, "Why?" He goes, he's like, "Cause fourth place is the only guy. You're the worst loser. You lost twice." And I didn't know what he meant because over here we don't do that. We don't fight for third and fourth. Once you lose, if you get to the semifinals of your division, whatever, it's just double third. And that's just it. They do it so that they don't have to fight for third and fourth. They want to save time, whatever. So I was like, "What do you mean?" Then when he told me, I was like, "Oh, we don't do that down here." He goes, "Yeah, everywhere else you fight for third and fourth up here. You never want to be fourth. Don't lose twice. You'll be the only man that loses twice in his division." And I was
after that, man, felt bad.
Never mind.
And I'm sorry for the people that's listening. If you go to a tournament this weekend or whatever, nobody's gonna get fourth place, But make sure it's your last time getting fourth place. Fight your ass off to make sure you don't never get that again, man.
Listen, but nah,
getting that again.
That trophy thing. You know what, man? Gina broke me out of that. Gina broke me out of the trophy thing.
Okay.
So, she told me. Because I was real big on like, man, I want to get my first overall. I'm still chasing my first overall. And she just told me one time, she said, it's not so much about you winning the overall, but we need to have good performances. If you have the performances you need to have, it'll get there. She's like, she told me one time, she's like, focus on being elite. Focus on being that elite fighter. He's like, and then the other stuff comes. Because she's like, once you set your goal on a tournament, then if you don't reach it, if you don't do this, you don't do that, then it messes with your head. So
and then also too, eventually, what's most important, I think too, which could even be even better than winning a trophy is who you beat.
Yeah.
If you beat somebody that's the cream of the crop, that's even better than the damn trophy.
Listen, man.
Listen.
We had that talk. That's why she said focus on your performance.
Mm-hmm.
She said it to me. This is the one time I won, and I felt real good about myself. I won, and she like called me right after the tournament and said, "You fought like crap." I won everything. Like how we said, the only person that didn't have an L that day. She said, "You fought like crap. Like you should have been. This fight should have been this score. You should have gotten through this fight. You should." She's like, "I don't know what you happy about because you ain't did nothing today." And I was like, "How you say you felt like that?" I was like.
Man,
I remember I was like, man, like if I'm winning and I'm getting told I fought like crap, then man, there's more levels to this. Like it's not just about winning. It's about how you win. She told me that one time. She said a champion is not about just winning, but the champion is about how you win. That's what matters.
And I remember when Ski beat Terry Kramer at a tournament, and now we were young at this time, and he beat Terry Kramer at a tournament, and all I remember Ski saying, like, he couldn't believe it. He kept saying, "I can't believe I just beat Terry Kramer. I can't believe I just beat Terry Kramer." He's sitting out like he won the tournament. I believe he won the tournament, and we're sitting down on the bleachers after it, and he's stunned. He just couldn't believe it. He said it in the locker room. He said it on the ride home. Like he just kept saying that he couldn't believe it. So, like once again, it's about who you beat sometimes, not so much.
He beat TC.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Jeez, man, I fought TC once. Jesus Lord.
Yep. So.
And he fought TC. He fought a younger TC too.
Yeah, this might have been. I mean, we were black belt, so this was after 91. So, but we weren't in college yet. We were. This probably around 93 or 94. I would have to ask Ski, see if he still remember.
So TC was still fighting nationally at that time.
Yeah. I mean, this wasn't a local tournament. I don't believe it was a local tournament. It was a bigger size tournament.
Oh, really?
I don't.
I thought it was a local.
No, I can't. I had to ask Ski. Like I want to say it might have been either. It might have been maybe Master Dunlap's tournament or Larry Tankston's tournament. It was a, it wasn't one of the main national tournaments, but it was a bigger,
It was a bigger
regional
event.
tournament.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it was a big.
it was something like that.
I got you.
It might have even been my uncle's tournament back in the day. I don't think it was there because I kind of remember us being out of town. I'll text Ski and ask him to see if he remembers.
That's crazy. Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't even know he fought TC. Shit.
Yeah. So if he's fighting him, so Ski obviously was the lightweight winner.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure if he was heavyweight or I don't believe he was the senior winner. But who knows? I would have to ask you. It was a long time ago, man. That was almost 30 years ago. So actually, it was 30 years ago or so. Yeah, we're in 24 now, and that had to be in 93 or 94 around that time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So it was a while ago.
That's crazy.
How was your week, Gene?
Man, everything was cool, man. Man, I've been working out hard. I've been working out, getting back ready. Cause I hadn't
Get
did
back
any.
ready. What you got going on?
Oh man, I just want to feel better, man. So I'm just getting back, because I mean I worked hard up until the wedding, and then after the wedding, man, I got in relaxed mode. Now that's when it came to working out. But my diet was still pretty much the same.
You're still vegan, right?
I eat plant based, but I did a couple years ago. I brought fish back in, so I have fish and I have eggs. But other than that, everything else, I still haven't had any type of meat. I haven't had chicken, pork, beef, or anything since 2020.
Okay.
I don't even miss it either. So many different types of substitutes or what. I don't even think about it anymore. So that's kind of been on point. I had to get rid of the snacking and stuff that I was doing. So I got my meal plan back in order the way it's supposed to be. So, but I'm back to working out and training. My foot's, it's all right. It's a little bit better than what it was. And I'm back to doing jujitsu, and I had fun last week doing my classes. But man, I don't know what the hell I was thinking about Saturday, and I can't believe I'm about to do it again. I know you probably saw my post I did Saturday. Man, I was beat.
I wanted to comment so bad.
Man, it was an hour of cardio.
Huh? I was about to comment and at Melissa and be like, should I be looking forward to this also? I was about to do that.
Well, no, man. It wasn't. It was just that I had did an hour of cardio early Saturday morning. Then my jujitsu class was at 10:30, so I drove out to Kigo, did the jujitsu class. On the way, now see, this was originally the plan. On the way back, I was supposed to pick Melissa up, and we were supposed to go hit weights together. And then we was going to go to lunch and do some shopping, blah, 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 blah. But she said that she wasn't feeling good. So she was like, I'm not going to go work out. I said, okay, cool. On the way back, I'm going to stop at Planet Hollywood, knock my weight training out. I gotta hit these body parts, and then I'll be home. And then we'll go from there. So I did eat breakfast. So I went, did the jujitsu, hit the weights, came home, picked her up. She was like, let's go to Cheesecake Factory. I said, okay, cool. Went out to the Cheesecake Factory, get there, and they say, you got an hour wait. And I'm like, because both of us are hungry. Then we get there like around 3:30. We think we can go in, have lunch, and then get dinner later. But we didn't get our food till like 5:30. So we were starving. Yeah. So man, my head started to hurt. I really wasn't feeling all the best. And then all of a sudden that fatigue hit me from that 3.5 hours of training. Because she was like, let's walk the mall so I can do some Christmas shopping or whatever, man. And I was beat. I took that picture when she went. She was like, I'm about to run in the store right quick. I'm like, all right, I'll wait out here. And I was like, man, I couldn't find a chair. I'm leaning up against the wall.
Yeah, that's the worst. Listen, let me tell you something. There's been times I've gone to the mall with my fiance, and as we're going to let's say there's a store that has dresses and all that, and I'm like, all right, well, I'm gonna go sit with all the other husbands that are just sad. Yeah, because they'll be like, where they have the chairs? Where they have the chairs? It just be a bunch of dudes. We all just sit there,
you're right. You're right.
Oh, Jesus.
And you know what I be saying too? You know what I say to Angel?
What?
Damn, please don't talk to me. Please don't nobody talk to me. But guess what? Every time people are attracted to me, people will come to me and just start talking. And Melissa will walk up like, you know them? I'm like, no, I don't know them. And I don't know why they have to say something to me. I attract strangers for some reason. And she's seen it plenty of times. People will just walk up and just start random conversations with me. And she just looks at me and be like, what is up with you? I'm like, I don't know, man.
You want to know
I don't
why?
know.
It's because you don't want to talk to people. So that's what happens.
I don't know, man. I don't know what's happening, man. But it's all good, man. I'm never mean to the people. You know, I entertain them, and I just be thinking like, what the hell? Like, what about me says, you know, I'm friendly. Let's talk. You know, you wouldn't you wouldn't think that. You wouldn't think that, you know. And a lot of time I ain't gonna lie. Like some people, I'll be like, you know, are they trying to make sure that I'm, you know, I ain't no thug or nothing like that? Make sure they ain't about to get robbed. Make sure I'm a friendly guy so they ain't getting robbed or nothing like that. I don't know. But yeah, man. So we ended up doing some Christmas shopping and coming home. But other than that, man, everything's been good, man. Trav's back up here. So I saw him at my parents' house on Sunday. Me and Champ went by there.
He's staying for the
And
week for the holiday weekend, or?
yeah. He'll be here. Yeah, he'll be here for me. I don't know when he's leaving. But he's up here with the family. Travis always comes home for Thanksgiving. You know, he don't come up like nobody. He doesn't come here for Christmas. My parents aren't up here for Christmas.
I was about to
So
say Christmas. He goes to Florida all the time, right?
yeah, because my parents are down there. So my parents
Gotcha.
are down there. So he'll go down there. But Thanksgiving, we is up here for the Plowden family.
So when it's Christmas, do you not see your family either?
I don't. Well, you know what, man?
Since they're not, because I know for a couple of years now they always go to Florida around this time.
Mm-hmm. Now, every now and then I'll go down to Florida for Christmas.
Okay.
We plan to go this year. But when it was time to get the flights, man, them tickets was just too much for me, Melissa, Champ, and DJ. All four of us, man, it would be like close to $3,000 for all four
Yeah.
of us. So I was like, nah. And then we got a lot of other stuff. We had the cars now. We doing home improvement stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was just like, nah, it ain't gonna happen this year. So
Yeah.
we just getting adjusted to doing our own thing here. Now we always can go over to my uncle's house. But I don't know, man. The families have gotten so big now. It seems like my uncle and them be doing their own thing, and then my aunt and her kids and all their family they be doing their own thing. So I don't know, man. Mel is planning something here for us, and we're probably gonna start doing our own thing up here when we don't go down to Florida. So but other than that, man, everything's been good. Work's been good. I'm about to go back to Indianapolis in a couple of weeks, so I got to talk to you guys about another day other than Tuesday.
Okay.
In a couple of weeks. Other than that, it's been cool. But I don't want to take up too much more time because man, we are way over. But I really don't care. Like this
It's
episode
200.
is 200, so it's all good. But I did have a question. I had a question for you guys, and I know the main gang they're gonna be listening, and I know they're gonna respond in our group chat that we got. So this I got this based on jujitsu, right? So I'm part of the Gracie University jiu-jitsu family. That's where I train, is Gracie University, right? And with Gracie University, they don't allow you to start rolling until you're like maybe 8 or 9 months into training. Yeah, so it takes a minute. Now I like that because I've trained at a lot of other schools, and you're rolling on day one, and you don't know nothing. And you're just pretty much getting smashed and getting used and getting hurt and bruised and beat up or whatever. And I wanted to compare that to karate, because a lot of people online think that's bad that you don't start rolling relatively early when you're doing jujitsu, right? Like I said, a lot of schools you're starting within, if not rolling the first day, sometime within your first week or two you're rolling in jujitsu classes. But with karate, I know with the Plowden system, we don't have white belt sparring in karate. What about you guys? Is the different schools you guys came up in? Did you guys have your white belts sparring? And if so, how long before your kids started sparring in karate?
I don't think we had white belt sparring.
You didn't have white belt spar?
So, Joe, how long did it take somebody from going from white belt to gold belt?
Ours was white.
Orange.
My first Tung Sudo was white to a red stripe, then purple, and I think you had to be a purple with a white stripe to start sparring, if I remember correctly.
So how long was that? Would that be a year? Would that have been 8 months, 6 months?
Probably 2, 3 to 4 months,
Okay. What about you, Angel?
I just
maybe
started
6 months. Yeah.
I just started loosening my stance on it. Before, they couldn't purchase sparring gear, so they were either a yellow belt or orange belt with white stripe, which would be in itself could be like anywhere between 7 months to a year, depending.
So
Depending on depending on the student. That's how I was before.
mm-hmm.
Now I'm softening it up a little bit because the reason why is because I've also changed my weeks. So like the way I run the school now, is we have 1 week is like full gi week, which is where they're wearing their full uniform, and that is going to be more like focus on like our basic blocks, punches, forms and all that. And then we have another week that's called fight week, where I allow them to wear their summer uniform, which is a t-shirt, pants, and belt. And that's where we're doing more kickboxing, boxing combinations, ground and pound, or we're gonna do or we'll just do like point sparring techniques. So because of that, I'm softening it up where like if they're about to test for their yellow belt, I'll allow them to purchase sparring gear. So like I've allowed some white belts to purchase sparring gear, but they only know basic hand combinations. So if they're sparring or if they're doing any type of fighting, it's like simulation rounds, so like hands only, you know what I mean, or something like that. So I like it's like a teeter-totter for me. Like it's like I'm softening it up a little bit just because of the way I'm structuring my school.
So before it was almost at a year. So now would you say about 6 months or five
Like
months?
yeah, like I would say like now it's about like 6 months, like anywhere between 4 to 6 months. And the reason why I say that is because I had a student where he placed his order in before he went for his belt promotion. But like with now that he got his belt promotion, and everything, it puts him at about like 6, 7 months he's been doing karate. So,
And I know at my uncle's school they used to. I don't know now. I'm not really familiar with what's going on now, but before it used to be white belts weren't sparring, but gold belts would spar, and it would normally take about 3 or 4 months to get your gold belt. Me, I push mine out a little bit farther. I push mine to about between 7 and 9 months before the kids spar. Number one, that is an investment to buying that safety gear. So I don't want people to buying that safety gear. The kid wears it once or twice, gets slaps around, doesn't know if they want to continue, and then the parents bring that shit back to me thinking they're gonna get a refund. So I like to make sure, you feel me. I like to make sure the kids gonna definitely know that this is an activity they want to be in. So if you buy it, it's yours. You're not giving it back to me. And typically by the time they are, so I wait till they're either about to be a second degree gold belt or they're gold belt with two stripes. So and typically that's their bit. They've been around me for about 7 or 8 months, and I at that point I think they're going to stick around, and that's when they start sparring. Plus at that time they've been through a few testings where I've done combinations, so they know how to do combinations. So when they get on the mat, they know how to put together a combination while they're sparring instead of just throwing a roundhouse kick and putting their leg down or a back fist and that's it without understanding exactly what it is they're trying to do. So
yeah, I agree with you. I know for me, just real quick, when it came to jiu-jitsu, when I started it, like this time, when I started doing it, like now at the MMA school, they had me rolling like day one, and I was like
yeah,
getting
yeah,
smashed and all that stuff.
yeah.
Um,
And that's
it,
discouraging, and that's
and
discouraging to some people also, especially if you don't know what you're doing. And I definitely know I wouldn't do that with a karate adult, because adults that start doing karate and they start sparring, man, they're wild. a
hell
white belt
yeah,
a white belt man that's sparring, hell no. Like he
no,
definitely needs to make sure that he's a gold belt before we start doing that stuff. So
I will say definitely though, like I didn't. Now I'm starting to hit a better stride with jiu-jitsu where I'm starting to learn more and I'm starting to like work more things. But the biggest reason why I didn't go to as many jiu-jitsu classes or I didn't do it so much during the week was because I felt like every time I rode, I didn't know nothing. So I'm just trying to survive and I keep
mm-hmm.
getting tapped out.
Yeah.
But then I don't know about you guys, right? And this is like really quick, but like I think some philosophies that are taboo in karate are actually wanted in like another martial art. So somebody was like, oh yeah, why don't you just look up, these 3 basic submissions that you can do from this position, since you're always in that, and at least you have something. I was like, why would I look up something online when you're supposed to, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, I don't want to be rude to the instructor. I feel like that's like me trying to skip ahead or whatever. But they, in some ways, kind of want that because they see it as you're studying the craft, which is
that's
like weird. It's weird.
and that's
weird.
Yeah, that's exactly why I like Gracie University, because I know what I need to do in order to get my first stripe. I know exactly what I need to do in order to go from white belt to blue belt.
Yeah.
It's all there, and I have the videos because I can go on the website and I can practice myself, and I know what I need to work on. So that's one of the reasons why I like it, and it helps. So
I do like I do like both. So like I liked that I started rolling early, but I think because I've already been in competitive natures or competitive settings, I will adapt quickly. But if someone who's not like that, who's just starting to do it for self-defense, it could be very overwhelming. So I could see both.
Yeah.
So I can see why Gracie University, that would probably be a good method to do it with.
And plus I have Steve at my school, so he can help me also improve with my rolling also. So when the time is right, I'm gonna be pretty decent, as time goes on.
Yeah.
But we are hour in. Let's talk about the movie.
Honestly,
Legend.
it's not that bad because there's not that much to talk about.
It isn't,
really
but
not.
I was a little bit disappointed with Legend of the Fist.
Honestly, I'm starting to not like Donnie.
So was I.
I was disappointed because this was supposed to be a continuation of Fist of Fury. And
now, see, online though, it's saying this is the prequel for Fist of Legend with Jet Li.
I have no idea
But it is
what
the
you're
same
looking
character.
At. It doesn't say that on Netflix. And
I know. That's the weird part.
Well, his name is Shin Zin, which was Bruce Lee's character's name in Fist of Fury. That's the same name in the movie also.
Yeah.
In the movie, the girl Kitty, she talks about Shin Zin because they're talking about his time in a war, and he said that this was his friend Shin Zin, and she said, I heard a rumor that Shin Zin died because he went to the what's the place called, the dojo? It was called Hungjung or something like that.
Yes.
They said that he went there and he killed a bunch of people. And they said that after it was done, he ran out and he got shot. And Shin replied by saying, well, that was just a rumor. And I'm thinking, like, how could that have been a rumor when all of those people were behind him? We saw all of those people outside. We heard the gunshots and him running toward the people with the gun and him jumping up. That was stupid. This should have, if they wanted to make this make sense, as opposed to being a follow-up of Fist of Fury, this should have been the prequel to Fist of Fury. Then it would have made more sense. Either a prequel or Donnie Yen's character should have been the brother of Shinzen. That even would have made sense, but to make him be Shinzen, and they didn't give us any explanation as to how he supposedly survived the end of Fist of Fury. So that was a little stupid.
Yeah,
and this character,
whole new story.
Yeah, this character did not act. Donnie Yen did not act the way that Bruce Lee acted in Fist of Fury. Now, of course, I'm assuming they're different people, and of course, the whole Fist of Fury, Bruce Lee was mad that his master, his teacher, had been killed. So of course, his head is in a different place than Donnie Yen's character is now. But I just had a hard time buying that this is the same character, because it did not seem like it.
Listen, the fight scenes were good, but there wasn't enough.
I was just about to be like, how many? Like 4?
Yeah. And they took away what we liked about the original, where it was just simple.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was simple, exactly. Techniques that were very effective. He was trying to do way too much. Now, I did like the first scene when he took the 2 knives and he's running like crazy, but it was too much. Like, I'm like, who are you, Batman?
Well, like, he becomes a superhero. And at no point in Fist of Fury did I think Shinzen is going to become a superhero.
He became a superhero, and his parkour was on point, boy.
Jesus, he reminded me of Kato from the Green Hornet.
That's exactly who he reminded. I said that when I looked it up while we were on the show last week. I'm like, why is he dressed like Kato?
Yeah, I don't understand it. That's who he reminded me of, and it didn't really make any sense. I mean, maybe that was a nod to Bruce Lee. I don't know, but it didn't make any sense as to the characters and the continuation of the story. Like even the main guy, the main villain, is supposed to be the son of one of those guys that he killed at the end of
Yeah.
Fist of Fury. I still don't know which guy it was though.
Colonial Chikara.
I'm starting to not like.
Was that the final boss, or was that the instructor that we saw? I don't know which one that was supposed to be.
Yeah, no idea.
I didn't look it up on Wikipedia.
They were playing all these war games like this, a lot of this cloak and dagger. It starts off in the war, and then it's not even a war between Japan and China, isn't it? The German versus, it's like the Germans versus Europe, and they're talking about the Chinese and the Japanese as laborers. But they were still fighting, but they were mostly like bringing ammo and crap.
Yeah.
And then he was a hero from that, and then he fakes his own death, and then we go into all these.
I don't know if he faked. He kind of faked his death because one of the guys that was with them died, gets shot in the head. He takes his identity for some reason, which they don't explain. He takes his, and then he just says that he is the one that actually died in the war, which made no sense because I was like, well, at the end of Fist of Fury, he was either going to die or he was going to jail. So how did he get into the war? And even if he did get into the war by some miracle, why wouldn't he be able to come home? Like the officers obviously had to know who he really was. That was just some bad story writing and very, very confusing.
It was very confusing and very terrible because
you don't even know what to say.
I don't, because
it's a disappointment because it's Donnie Yen.
Yeah, and
I'm starting to not like his movies.
Oh, I think this is the only bad one that we've ever reviewed of his, isn't it?
This is my thing though. It's not even that. This is how I felt when I watched the movie, right? So one, like Joe, you said, like not enough fight scenes, right? But I'm starting to notice like a pattern with his movies. It's like I feel like almost I don't know. I don't want to put words or like put a narrative out there that may not be true or sound a bit harsh. But I feel like he can't get the like roles that allow him to show his range as an actor in America. So every time he does an international movie, it always has a lot of like storytelling and drama to it with not as much fight scenes as we think. I feel like we all go to rush to watch it because we see Donnie Yen, he's going to be kicking ass. And I was like, yeah, he'll kick ass for 4 scenes. In the middle, it's a bunch of dialogue and storytelling. And then especially in this one, it's like the storytelling didn't even make sense because of what we thought it was going to be. So now I just feel like I'm just sitting there and I'm wasting my time. I'm trying to watch all these fight scenes and there's barely any.
Like, he should have been a different person.
I'm seeing more guns and more people being shot in the head. I'm not even seeing how they got shot in the head. Like, it's just, and they're all little like 5-second clips of little things. It's just, I personally, I was like, man, I feel like a lot of his movies are starting to turn into that.
And this movie was subtitled, and at the same time, they're not really explaining what the hell you're watching. Like, it was a good, almost like maybe 40 minutes before you even figured out what the hell was going on.
Yeah, that was another thing.
I was confused. Like, whatever.
It was very hard to follow.
Yeah,
but the basic idea is it's all cloak and dagger. It's you got spies everywhere. Even down to the women in the club. So there's this club. What was the club called? Claymore or something like that?
Casablanca, I think, wasn't it?
Casablanca, yeah. I knew it was like a movie or something.
Yeah.
And the one guy was posing as like a mob boss or a gangster or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And then everybody else in the club was either, a Japanese spy or a Chinese spy. And then you got Donnie Yen playing Shenzhen, but he's playing he's not really Shenzhen. He's wearing a mustache that he drew on, and I know. I'm like,
Well, I think he
Kent?
pasted it on. I think he pasted it on.
Whatever he
pulled it
did, it
off.
was
Yeah,
the whole thing was crazy.
yeah,
And he was the other guy who supposedly really died, but
yeah.
then he pretended like he died. And I'm like, really? It was crazy. It made no sense. And I mean, there were times where it was too obvious, like the girl, the what was her spy name? Kitty or some
Kitty.
crap.
Yeah, Kitty.
And she was really a
That
Japanese
chick was
spy.
drunk the whole movie. She was drunk the whole movie, or acting like she was drunk the whole
She
movie.
was acting like she was drunk.
Yeah, that was getting irritating.
But then they would have these meetings with the colonel, and you saw all these they're being told their positions, and this guy, like, if you don't do your job right, he's punching you in the throat and killing you and kicking you in the side of the head. And the other guy's talking about his 6 wives and his girlfriend. It's just, it was a lot of stuff that just was crazy. And then she ended up, she was all over Shenzhen, and he was trying to figure out who she was, and he was trying to figure out, and they were trying to figure each other out. And then at one point, it seemed like they fell for each other, but it couldn't happen because they were on opposite ends. And it was too much. I just wish they would have stuck to a
They were
simple
trying to be
story.
too creative. They were trying to be too creative.
We needed a simple story with more fighting.
Yeah, you can't do that when it's a subtitle movie. Like, you're making me think too much. I'm reading it, and now I'm gotta think, and I'm trying to process all this stuff.
And on top of all the cloak and dagger stuff and the spy stuff, he throws on a vigilante outfit and is doing his own thing at night with that.
Yeah, and he's jumping around, jumping off buildings, and I was like, this character didn't do this stuff in Fist
Which
of Fury.
again, I remember when I saw this and I saw that part, I said, "Oh, I thought this was the sequel to The Mask." And that's what I thought it was with Jet Li. I thought this was a sequel to that. And I was like, I remember that was the whole reason why I watched this. And then I was like, this doesn't make any sense to what I was watching. I watched Jet Li. So I was like, what's going on? But then when I watched it again, I go, this don't make any sense to Bruce Lee. Like, what? Like, I feel like it's just its own movie. That's what it should have just been. Its own movie.
It should have been, yeah.
And you know what?
Or it could have been a prequel, because it would have made so much more sense to if it was the prequel to Fist of Fury, because we would have seen a change in the character of Shenzhen. Like, he was some type of random vigilante having a personal vendetta against the Japanese, and then the Japanese go and kill his master. And now Fist of Fury, he's getting revenge for what they did. That makes sense if you take this movie and put it before Fist of Fury. But having this movie come after, it just really confused me. It didn't make any sense at all.
And then the funniest part to me is every time I kept looking at Kiki / Feng Kuai, or whatever her real name was, I kept saying, why do I recognize her? It's Lai from the Transporter.
Oh, I definitely didn't recognize her.
It was bothering me, and I recognized her face, and I finally looked it up, and I was like, oh, I was like, it is her. I was like, I haven't seen her in anything else since the Transporter.
I want to say something, but don't know if I should say it.
Here we go.
I'm gonna be very careful.
Listen, let me.
I'm gonna be very careful.
Let me just say this: it's 200. We haven't gotten canceled by now. I think we're good. I mean,
I don't know. I'm gonna push it with this one, but I don't know. The part that kind of confused me was, so she's undercover, pretending to be Chinese, and she's not Chinese. She's Japanese. And I'm sitting there thinking, please. I'm thinking, like, they didn't know that she was Japanese. Like, she didn't have an accent. I don't know. I'm not around Chinese culture. I'm not around Japanese culture. But I would think they would know who is one of them and who isn't one of them. Angel, you know what I mean.
I know what you're saying.
You know what I'm saying?
Because
I'm gonna tell you. I'm
comment.
gonna say it from a black point of view. If I'm hanging out with my people and a Haitian guy walks up, I know he's not like me.
Just about to say, if a Haitian dude comes and talks to you,
Yeah. If a Jamaican guy comes around, I'm like, "Where you from, bro? Like, what's going on?" You know.
Gene, I'm so glad because I was just about to be like, I already know where you're gonna go with this. I already know. Listen, I'm just gonna say this. I'll say it only because I've said it once before on the show, and I remember I said it one time, and you go, "Yeah, I'm not touching that," and you just kept moving because I made a comment like, "Yeah, like I couldn't, I thought he kind of looked the same like everyone else," and I remember you said, "Yeah, I'm not touching that," but you just kept it going. So I get what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
You know what? Honestly, and I guess a good way you could also say it is, doesn't like the dialect, like isn't a dialect different?
Yes, that's what I'm getting at. Also,
the dialect. I think even like how you said, like just the accent itself, the way like they say words and the way like the pronunciation is, even the way their characters. How was she able to read the Japanese newsletter? But you know what? They could also learn a different language. So
but there was, I will say this, there was at the beginning when she was singing, they asked her to sing a Japanese song.
Mm-hmm.
And she started, so maybe she knows. I mean, if she's supposed to be a decorated officer, because she does show up in her clothes, the officer clothes at one point. So if she's supposed to, she could probably switch the languages or speak a few more than just one. So maybe she knows the different dialects. I don't know. That's a good question. Yeah. Just one more thing to add, but the end of the movie, he does really pay homage to Fist of Fury and Bruce Lee, because he puts on a white suit, not quite the same kung fu outfit, more of a like a kung fu / military uniform. But he takes the shirt off, he pulls the nunchucks out, he's doing the whoa Bruce Lee stuff. So he pays the Bruce Lee homage, but it wasn't the same. And he's taking on the whole dojo. He's taking on the whole dojo just like Bruce Lee.
Why did they keep showing us this coin? Like, I missed that also. I didn't understand what was the significance. I did not understand the significance of the coin. I was starting to think like maybe this has something to do with Fist of Fury. Did I miss something in Fist of Fury with a coin? Or because they kept showing us this coin that he had, and I was just lost because it wasn't making any sense to me.
The only scene, so this coin first showed up in the scene where he first met the main bad guy, the Japanese leader.
General, and whatever he was.
Colonial, whatever, yeah.
He was the son of one of the people from Fist of Fury.
He made a wager about the vigilante, but I think he made it knowing that he was the vigilante. So it was kind of like I see you. And so when he grabbed it and then he showed it to him, when he grabbed it, it was like yeah, I know you see me, but do something about it. And then at the end, he was basically, this is my idea of it. At the end, he was like, yeah, now you see me. Guess what? I beat you. Done. Like, fuck you.
All right, I guess. I guess.
That's the best thing, because I was thinking the same thing. Like, who cares about this silver dollar? Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But thanks for that. So, I mean, yeah.
There are a lot of other stuff happening in this movie, but it's really nothing really to talk about, man.
It was just a whole lot of unnecessary plot. I would have liked to see a little bit simpler plot, some more fight scenes, and just take it from there. Or like you said, maybe just make it a prequel. I don't know, man. I was excited about this. I was excited to watch this, and it deflated me because I was like, I don't even know what I'm watching. It was weird. So
yeah, like I said, it would have made, if I probably would have enjoyed. And you know what? Probably what messed us up is watching Fist of Fury first, knowing that this was supposed to be the sequel. Really, really
I'm
enjoying
saying.
Fist of Fury, and this was such a letdown from the get go. And
Yes.
now would we feel the same way if this wasn't connected to Fist of Fury? Would this been a bad movie then?
Yeah, it was
If
too
it was his
confusing.
own, if it was his own I don't know if I would have judged it the same way though, because I know what I'm going to give it grade wise. I'm not sure I would give it the same grade if I wasn't expecting something different. If it was the prequel of the Fist of Fury, it makes total sense. I get it, and this would explain why the Japanese would have came back and killed his teacher and all of that. Now he's really messed up in the head, and then he's killed at the end of Fist of Fury. Boom, I get it. It makes sense. This being a sequel, that this doesn't make any sense. If it was its own thing, I got it. It makes sense. It's its own standalone movie. Okay, it's about a Chinese guy that's going to war with the Japanese. And you know he's taking them out one by one because he doesn't like how they're he doesn't like how they're treating his people. I get it. He turns into a vigilante. I got it. Fine, it makes sense. But by having it try to connect to Fist of Fury, it just kind of messes it up for me. So,
yes.
What grade are we giving this movie?
Sure.
Sounds like Angel's going to pull out the flag and flag it down.
Yeah, I'm giving it an F, bro. What you talking about?
What about you, Joe?
I don't think it's got to get an F. I mean, I'll give it a D.
I'm with you, Joe. I was also giving it a D. Also, I don't like I said. Will I watch it again? No, I probably won't watch it again because I don't want to sit there and read this shit. It wasn't dubbed. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it again. I don't think it. We've watched worse. We've watched worse stories. So it still is better than Street Fighter to me. It's still better than Double Dragon. So I can't put it down there with them. But yeah, I think it found a nice little home in the D's with me.
That works. That's okay. At least we know the next 4 movies are good. So
yeah. All right. So finally, Angel gets his wish. We're watching the Rocky series, but we're only going to watch Rockies 1 through 4 for right now. And maybe at some other point we'll get to the other ones. But for now, we're going to watch.
Do we have to watch 5 and 6?
Yep. If we got to watch 1 through 4, we're going to watch 5 and 6.
Honestly, I like 6. 5 was the only one that I was like,
I had a problem with 6. 6 is Tyson and Paul. That's what 6 was. Rocky comes out of retirement at 90 to fight. Was that Tarver that he fought?
Yeah, Antonio Tarver.
Yeah, that's Rocky 6 right there.
Any excuses to that, Roy?
You know, and then
I don't hate 5 either. It's not great, but I don't hate it.
I don't hate it either. And I remember when it came out, I didn't hate it. I never hated it. I didn't hate any. I didn't hate any of the Rocky. Out of all of them, 6 was probably my least favorite. But I remember when 5 came out, I just felt bad for him. I'm like, Jesus, this guy, like that got to be a sucky feeling, man, to lose everything. And your Paulie, man, he will be dead. He will be dead, and if Adrian got a problem with it, he probably would be dead right next to him. Right? Most of them will be in the backyard. You know, no, that man. But we'll talk about that later. So Rocky 1 is next week. You ready, Angel? You happy?
I'm so happy.
All right. You guys got any closing remarks? Any Thanksgiving remarks or anything like that?
Nah, man. Just happy Thanksgiving to all the fans out there, everybody. And then just, man, 200, man. This is great. Big milestone.
We made it.
That's right.
200.
Well, I want to thank you guys for helping me make it to 200. So thank you, fellas.
Of course.
Of course. Bro.
All right, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving. Stay safe. Stay strong. We'll holler at you next week. And I will play our music.
Disaster must come. At best, only postponed. Shaolin Kung Fu, to survive, must now be taught to more young men.